in here, and I'm here to show you how to make this Little Mermaid inspired hair bow on an alligator clip. If you would like to see how I made this one, stay tuned. To start this project, you need a piece of fabric that is 11 inches long and 6 inches tall. Now you need to fold the fabric in half so that it is 11 inches long and only 3 inches tall. If you're working with a stretchy fabric, as I am, you need to make sure your machine is on a zigzag stitch. Sew down the edge where the fabrics come together. I am using about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And after that done, you of course turn it right side out, and there you have the basics starting. If it was a ribbon, you would just start, but since I'm doing this one out of fabric, and I want to find the middle, so I fold it in half, and then because I used one of these cutting boards, and it has the inches on it, I line it up to a line. So you fold it in half, and then you want to bring the edges in and just overlap the middle just a little bit. So on my fabric bows, I don't use hot glue yet. So as that's down, you could just run it through the sewing machine again, but I'm gonna just hand stitch it real quick, and I'm using red because I'm gonna put red around the middle. Okay, once you have your needle threaded, I don't know if we can see that yet. You have your needle threaded, then I double it up, and then you just tie a knot. So along the middle, so now I'm gonna hand stitch through all 3 layers. So I'm just trying to keep it flat right now. I'm gonna turn this around. I'm just gonna jam the needle all the way through and back out. I'm kind of gonna do this all the way down just so that I can make sure they stay in line. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's gonna be covered up. So have it sewn. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. And because this fabric is so floppy, I like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the thread, I'm gonna pull the thread and see how it gathers. So I think that looks cute. I don't have to do any actual forming of it. And if I like how it's coming out, which a lot of times these floppy fabrics do tend to fold up naturally on their own, I'm gonna wrap the thread around a couple times to keep that in place. And I have the top facing up, so I'm gonna come around to the back after I twist it around a couple times, pull it as tight as I want, and then I need to make a knot. So you want to secure it to the fabric by making a couple of knots. So now that you have the main part of the bow done, I'm going to cover that in the middle. Some red. This is 3/8 of an inch red ribbon. And then on top of that, I am going to lie a fork in the middle. Well, I'm going to glue it down. Okay, so how I do my middles, I just take the end so I don't have to cut off and waste. Take your hot glue gun, make sure you have it heated up, make sure you have a glue stick in it. And then I put a little dab of glue and I set the ribbon on it. I hold that and let that dry some, which hot glue dries fast. You might glue your finger down, you might just want to be careful. So then I wrap it around the front, covering up that stitch. When you have it pulled as tight as you want it, I hold it on the sides. Then I put another dab of glue over the red ribbon you just glued down, and then hold the rest of the bit down on it. When that's secure and dried, I just snip the ribbon off. And to make sure that this doesn't fray, because I do make these to sell, so I like to make sure. So just put a little bit of flame on it, and then it seals the ribbon. I don't know if you can really see the seal. You don't want it too bad so that it burns the ribbon, just in case it does show, but enough that it won't fray if this part does happen to show. Since this fork I'm using is plastic, I think I'm just going to use the hot glue. So since I'm attaching it to the middle, I will put a dab of glue on the red part, and I try to just go a little bit long so that hopefully it doesn't bleed out too much. And then place the fork where you want it. So I'm going to do another strip of ribbon. You could have laid the fork down first and then put the ribbon. So just do it the same way we did it last time. Now we're going to glue the bow on. I just put a dot of hot glue right in the middle. Put it in the middle of the bow and hold it down. If you have excess glue sticking out like that, you can leave it. I tend to take it off once it's dried a little bit so it doesn't burn me. And if you want to, because it's a little white, just throw some fire over it. And there you go. A Little Mermaid inspired hair bow. I hope you guys like this tutorial. If you want to, if you make it or make your version of it, I would love to see those. My Instagram is below, Erica Corinne. And if you would like to have one but are unable to make one yourself, I have a Etsy shop, and that link should be below, and this one should be up there shortly. I'll probably only have a couple different versions. I tend not to oversaturate I like to make one of a kind or three of a kind bows. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon. Bye.